Good morning. Thanks for joining me on my dog walk today. It's a bit warmer here. It's 14 degrees, almost tropical. So I promised yesterday, following on from the video that I did, that I would talk about being realistic about money. And this is something I'm super passionate about because I did it so badly in those early days of starting my own business, like incredibly badly. So I'd saved a little bit of money, but mine was my first business. TT was a physical business, so chairs, tables, rent, electricity, staff, all the things. So I certainly didn't save even enough. And I think that's something that we forget to think about when we set up a business, that, you know, even if it's an online, if it's just a you business, you're probably going to want some savings or investment or something in order to tide you through to that point where you actually make money. And so there's that part of it, which I think is important. And to be honest and super transparent, I had my husband who was earning, my then boyfriend, my now husband, who was earning a really good salary. So he was able to support us. You know, I wasn't the one putting food on the table. That was, you know, he had that covered. So if you're doing this as an actual solopreneur and you don't have that income coming in from somewhere else, that is most definitely something to think about, that you need to plan ahead for that. And it might need to be a side gig to start off with, and it might not be able to be your full-time thing. The second thing about being realistic with money when you first start out is really go through your numbers based on the model that you're about to do, whether that's, I don't know, selling advertising space, coaching, web design, whatever is your thing. Like what is your initial income goal? Because there's obviously the long-term amazing future that you want, but there's also the realities of that first year. So within 6 months, what would you like that to look like? 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, whatever it is for you. And so how much do you need to sell of what you have in order to get that money? And I think that can be a reality check. So how much time would be involved with you doing that? And do you have the capacity in your life with all the other things you've got going on? It might be childcare. It might be, like I say, another job. It could be, I don't know, lots of things. So given that, do you have the capacity? Does your model work as a business? And I think that's where some people, and certainly I, in the early stages, got it really wrong. I just didn't work out that model from the get-go and see how I could make a decent living from it. And it took me a really long time to get that right. And it was really, for me, only when I brought on the Spanish school that it all made sense. Using the space made sense, the teachers, the resources, all of those things, and we started to make really good money. But my first initial business as a supplementary business makes amazing sense when it's using the resources of the other business. It didn't make sense as a business on its own. So really think through your model, really crunch your numbers. And there's no reason to these days. I know even if you're, you know, got, like my son, dyscalculia, or you know, you really struggle with Excel, all those things, use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is amazing at running numbers for me, and it makes absolute massive difference. So that is the two things I would be realistic about and really think through. I think there are lots of other areas to think about for this, and over the next couple of weeks I'll certainly go into some more, but let's start there and bring in some real common sense with those starting parts of your business and really work your stuff out. I'll see you soon.